Hello, welcome to the Echo Tips Podcast. In today's episode, we're going to be tackling a pretty cool topic that is dealing with sound-activated triggers. Triggers that trigger, what? Routines! That's right. So that's diving into some of the more complex features of the Amazon Echo, where you can set up a routine that's a progressive series of steps that happen, maybe turn the lights on, maybe play music, maybe send a message, those sort of things. But now your Echo, and this is a beta feature, can hear babies crying, can hear dogs barking, and more. But before I get into that in any sort of detail, we're going to go to a brief message about our podcast, and then I'll be right back. This episode is brought to you by the New Vision program at Goodwill. We're also grateful for the kind use of WVTF Studios. New Vision is a program of Goodwill that provides information services and assistive technology training to individuals with visual impairments living in Southwest Virginia. Goodwill Industries of the Valleys is a nonprofit organization serving the New River, Roanoke, and Shenandoah Valleys of Virginia. Goodwill's mission services help individuals with disabilities and disadvantages to get back to work and gain greater independence. These shows are provided for educational purposes. This podcast may not be retransmitted, sold, or reproduced without written permission from New Vision. Well, hello again, and welcome back to the Echo Tips Podcast. As I mentioned earlier, we're going to be dealing with a new feature on the Amazon Echo line of devices that is currently labeled as beta here in the United States, but hopefully will be making its way around the world to our other listeners. And this is the sound trigger feature. That's kind of what I'm naming it. I don't know if that's the official name, but it's a feature where the Echo can hear certain types of sounds and then trigger routines. But before I give us the foundation for routines, if you've never heard of that feature before, I'd just like to make a brief note to our new listeners. We'd like to welcome you to the podcast and introduce myself. My name is David Ward. I'm an assistive technology instructor with the New Vision program at Goodwill, and at the end of the episode I'll mention some ways you can reach out to me, find out more about what I'm doing, or even make suggestions about future episodes or things you'd like to learn about. Now, for our returning listeners, we'd like to welcome you back as well. Because of both of you, we're about to pass, I think, 70,000 listens to our episodes. We haven't even broke 200 episodes yet, and we'll probably be breaking that 70,000 here pretty soon. Okay, so back to the concept of routines. Routines have been around for a long time, and the easiest way to conceptualize them is that they are like recipes. You know, like crack eggs, heat oven, do this. So it's a series of steps that take place. Now, typically, when you interact with your Echo, you say, tell me the weather, tell me the time, and you get this singular response generally, right? So this is unique in that you can now customize a command, invoke a routine, and the series of steps happen that turn on the lights, that play music, that set a sleep timer, that maybe send a message to the kids telling them it's time to get up, whatever, right? A whole series of things that can happen based on a single trigger phrase. Now, that was the case up until now. You would say, yada, 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 trigger morning routine or whatever. But now you can have an actual sound that happens in your environment, in your house, trigger the routine all by itself, which is pretty cool under this beta feature set. And so this is an entirely new concept. It is to routines, but we have had the Echo. Obviously, she responds to her name when you say the A-Lady name. But also, if you think about the guard mode, we've had it set so that she can hear breaking glass, maybe a fire alarm, and then make a response in like a potentially emergency situation accordingly to notify you that something's happened. So this is kind of in a similar genre, but now can trigger your own customized routines. So some of the features include a baby crying will trigger a routine, coughing can trigger a routine, and dog barking, and we'll look at some of the other things here in just a second. Now, in particular, one of my compadres across the pond in the United Kingdom, Robin Christopherson, specifically asked for a demo about this segment on his podcast. And if you haven't heard Robin's podcast, the Dot to Dot podcast, I highly recommend that you go check it out. He's a little different format than us. He's 5 minutes or less, a daily podcast, and he mostly focuses on skills, which are like apps, on the Amazon Echo. But he does a fantastic job, and he really has put out a lot of content, especially compared to us. And so I did this demo for him, and I'm kind of snipping it out here for you guys to hear part of the segment as well. But I'm also kind of bringing some extra information and context since we are a little longer format than he is. Okay, but anyhow, let's go to that little recording. In particular, what would happen if a dog was barking?
It's time to walk the dog. Your dog needs attention.
Okay, so that's just one example. Let's look at another one. For example, if the baby woke up and was crying. And in this routine, it triggers lullaby music. Or I guess it's crickets and lullaby music. Alexa, stop. All right, and for one final demonstration, what if I'm coughing?
Cover your mouth when you're coughing.
Okay, so that gives you a little bit of an idea. So let me tell you where you can find it and some of the features connected with it. All right, so you'll open up the A-Lady app on your telephone, smartphone, tablet, etc. You will have to do it on a smartphone or a tablet. You can't do it through the web page. You're going to go to the More button in the bottom right corner. Then you're going to go to Routines. Once Routines pops up, you're going to hit the Add button in the top right corner. And then you're going to get several different prompts. You want the thing that's going to be triggering a routine. So that's labeled When This Happens. I think it's the second thing down on that page. Then in the next page, you're going to have these possible triggers. And then you're going to see Sound Detection Beta. And you'll tap on that. And from there, the current sounds that are designated as trigger options are dog barking, baby crying, snoring, and then coughing. Now, once you tap on those, you can follow the rest of the procedures as a typical routine to add a series of actions that take place. For example, the baby's crying, it sends a message to mother, plays lullaby music, or maybe the dog is barking. It, turns the lights on and unlocks the doggy door. You can just blow your mind with all sorts of possibilities. There's an additional feature in there when you're customizing it that you can specify what days of the week that this feature will be active, the hours between which it will be active, like say 9 to 5 or through the night if maybe it's the baby crying. And then also you can designate how a suppression time. Now that means, let's say, and the default is 15 minutes. So somebody coughs, like my Echo did in the demo, and says, cover your mouth while you're coughing. It won't do that again, even if I keep on coughing until that 15-minute time period elapses. And so you can change that suppression time. So that could apply to any one of these: the snoring, the baby, the dog barking. Maybe the dog likes to bark at the mailman or something. You could set a suppression level. That way she isn't constantly repeating again and again. Okay, so that just gives you kind of a nice little roundabout idea about setting up these routines that are triggered by sounds, and hopefully it's given you some food for thought and ideas. I hope they add some things to this too. Wouldn't it be cool? Maybe like clap your hands or something, does something. Who knows? I'm not really sure. I'd have to think about it, but got some cool ideas here that could potentially take place. Well, anywho, so that will bring our episode to a close. As I mentioned earlier, if you'd like to reach out to me, you can do so at our New Vision program at Goodwill Industries of the Valleys. You can find Goodwill Industries of the Valleys on Facebook and on Twitter. And you can find out our website and the program that I'm involved with at goodwillvalleys.com/newvision. That's all lower case letters and no spaces. See, I'll get this right eventually. I've only done it 100 plus times. So anyway, you can reach out to me or find out more about the program there, or if you have questions or topics for possible future episodes. All right, well, until next time, start practicing some of the many things that you've learned, and we thank you for listening.
Thanks, Dave. In conclusion, let me tell you a thing or two. This episode is brought to you by New Vision at Goodwill Industries of the Valleys, and it is also made possible in part by a grant from Community Foundation serving Western Virginia. And there's more. We're also grateful for the kind use of WVTF Studios. New Vision is a program of Goodwill that provides information services and assistive technology training to individuals with visual impairments living in Southwest Virginia. For more information, check out our website at goodwillvalleys.com/newvision, with no spaces. Goodwill Industries of the Valleys is a non-profit organization serving the New River, Roanoke, and Shenandoah Valleys of Virginia. Goodwill's mission programs help individuals with disabilities and disadvantages to get back to work and gain greater independence. These shows are provided for educational purposes. This podcast may not be retransmitted, sold, or reproduced without written permission from New Vision. Thanks for listening.